Steam rose from the backs of the coach horses. The coachman shouted at his passengers. They'd 10 minutes to stretch their legs, whilst the horses eagerly slaked their thirst at the well. The lad from the village baker's filled his pail with water and hurried past on his way. Bowie's Well, at the heart of the village of Croxton, was a busy place early that morning. Looking down into the well on this frosty morning some 200 years later, I was filled with sadness that the hustle and bustle around the village well had long since disappeared, and it lay abandoned, its stonework crumbled, and its past importance to the livelihood of the village forgotten. It was as though the heart of the village was no longer beating, and the well slumbered into insignificance. As I looked down into the clear fresh water, I was suddenly aware that the well was almost reaching out to me. Here I am, full of precious water. Don't forget, don't let me disappear into oblivion. Despite the arrival of piped water, wells in the Staffordshire Peak District have not been forgotten, and over the centuries, people have gathered at the traditional well-dressing festivals, where the wells are celebrated and remain a focal part of the village life. Back in Croxton in 2012, the community was galvanised into action, restoring the ancient well. Men sweated, relaying heavy sandstone blocks with lime mortar, and the land surrounding the well was replanted with woodland flowers, ferns and orchids. An information board was added to provide visitors with the history and significance of this ancient well, so that it would never be forgotten again. In midsummer, wooden frames were thrown away into the River Sow, and when they were saturated with water, filled with clay. It was at this point that I developed a new creative skill as part of a team. During the 6 days of the well dressing in the making, I helped to create a beautiful design made from natural materials such as seeds, eggshell, wool and petals. It was intricate, back-breaking work, but quite addictive once started, and so rewarding. After 6 days, a well-earned glass of wine was on hand to toast the design completion. On July the 6th, 2012, the village well once again took pride of place. No longer ignored and crumbling, now hundreds of people stood and admired the well dressing that was now the backcloth to the ancient well. They watched as the traditional blessing ceremony once again gave the well pride of place and its historical importance celebrated. I watched with pride and a feeling of joy at the restoration of the well and the knowledge that every 2 years the well would be celebrated in the heart of Croxton village and people would never let it be abandoned again.